World News, historic vote amid cheers and outrage. What were the big prizes some senators got for saying yes? And we answer your #1 question about this bill and the health of your family. Christmas week chaos, more long lines, more short tempers, passengers stranded at airports for the 3rd straight day. And nuclear truth or dare, as the White House turns up the pressure on Iran, we question Iran's combative president. And on the case, our own Sherlock Holmes tracks packages to see if the gifts you sent this holiday have a prayer of arriving on time.
From the global resources of ABC News, this is ABC World News with Diane Sawyer.
Good evening, and it is so good to be here with you tonight. And we begin with the seismic vote on health care reform. In the Senate, exhaustion, accusations, high drama over what is in the bill and what price was paid to get it. Jonathan Karl has been there every step of the way through the marathon. John?
Diane, that middle-of-the-night vote was a major victory for the president and for Democratic leaders. It was also a windfall for a few key senators.
As senators arrived at 1 a.m. for the big vote, we asked a simple question.
Read all the way through the bill yet? Get a chance to read the whole bill yet?
Trying.
Have you read through the whole bill yet?
Not quite yet, getting there.
Sir, you read the whole bill yet?
I have, actually.
The Senate clerks were forced to read the bill aloud, but not a single senator was around to hear all of it. Inside the bill, you will find an ambitious restructuring of the health insurance system, made possible in part by lots of special treats inserted by key senators.
For the state of Nebraska.
On page 98, Nebraska Senator Ben Nelson, the last Democratic holdout, got his state exempted from paying anything for the bill's expansion of Medicaid, a gift worth about $100 million. On page 96, Vermont's Bernie Sanders, the last liberal holdout, got $600 million in Medicaid help. More for Senator Nelson on page 369. Tax changes that will exempt the Nebraska-based insurance company Mutual of Omaha from some of the new taxes in the bill. On page 193, Finance Chairman Max Baucus got Medicare coverage for the victims of asbestos exposure in Libby, Montana. He boasted about it on the Senate floor.
I said to myself, boy, I'm going to do whatever it takes to take care of this because these people of Libby deserve justice.
On page 328, Connecticut's Chris Dodd inserted $100 million for a new hospital that he hopes will go to the University of Connecticut.
Mr. Shelby, no.
Outraged Republicans are accusing Democrats of buying votes.
A couple of cheap deals and a rush vote at 1 o'clock in the morning.
This process is not legislation. This process is corruption.
Nonsense, says Majority Leader Harry Reid. This is the way Congress works.
That's what legislation is all about. It's the art of compromise.
Senate passage of this bill is now virtually certain, but there are still tough negotiations ahead with the House, which has its own version of the health care bill. And Diane, that means there will be more wheeling and dealing ahead.
Okay, John, our thanks to you. And as you know, John, President Obama applauded the Senate vote, calling it a big victory for the American people. And the bill won the endorsement of the American Medical Association. But the heart of the matter is what the bill means for American families and their health. And you have been sending us questions all day. Dan Harris tackles the top of the list. Now, Dan?
Diane, good evening. We're getting a lot of questions from viewers about what any final bill, a combination of the House and Senate bills, would mean for their daily lives. So we went to a group of experts and got some clear, simple answers.
One of the most common questions is, if I already have health insurance, can I keep it as is? The short answer is yes. There's nothing in either bill that would force you to lose the insurance you have right now. Can I keep my doctors? Again, yes. The bill doesn't change the status quo. If I change or lose my job, can I keep the same insurance? No, but the government would set up a new insurance exchange that you can buy into. Low and middle income people would get subsidies to buy this insurance, and you wouldn't be excluded from these exchanges if you have a pre-existing condition. If I'm on Medicare, will there be cuts to my benefits? Not as of right now. There's nothing in the bill that would cut your benefits, but many Republicans say in order to pay for the bill, there will be no choice but to cut. Will my taxes go up? In some cases, yes, some high wage earners would pay higher taxes. If I'm uninsured right now, how soon do I get the help to buy health insurance? There's a big lag time under the House Bill 2013. And under the Senate bill, not until 2014.
So why the lag? In part because Congress is engaging in some creative math here. In order to make the bill look less expensive, they had to push out many of the major provisions for many years. Diane?
All right, Dan, if that's what the House and Senate bills seem to agree on, what about those big differences Jonathan Karl mentioned? Time for the bottom line, and we turn to George Stephanopoulos. What about it? Is it a bridge too far between the Senate and House bills? Will this pass?
I think it will, Diane, but it's still going to take some negotiating. As John Karl said, there are two big differences between the House and the Senate bill. The first is on taxes. The House has a surtax on the wealthiest Americans. The Senate has this tax on these high-priced Cadillac health insurance plans. The surtax isn't going to fly in the Senate. What's going to happen in the House is you shave back this Cadillac health insurance tax, and you pump up the subsidies for working Americans. Then the issue of abortion. Both bills contain what they call a ban on federal funding, but the Senate one is a little bit looser than the House one, and so some pro-life Democrats and Republicans in the House are against that. It's very difficult to see how they're going to solve that. Diane, the final hurdle on this bill is going to be the issue of abortion. It affects 1/6 of the economy. Abortion is going to be the big issue.
Let me ask you about the other big uproar today, of course, which is about some senators, members of the president's own team, seeming to get special treatment.
Well, you're in a situation now where every single senator has a veto over the bill, and the senators who like the bill, the overall bill, the least, have the most power. So the only way you're going to get some of those provisions out is if the senators themselves decide, you know what, it's too much trouble, I want to get it out. Shame is the only thing that's going to work.
Could take it out in the conference.
Themselves. They come out and say, you know what, I want to give it up.
All right. Our thanks to you, George. And that's our coverage on healthcare reform tonight. And we turn to travel mayhem. It has stranded holiday passengers for 3 days in a row. All those people still sleeping in airline terminals, eating airline fast food, and dreaming of a call to the gate. A snowstorm in the east has waned, but an ice storm in the west is on the way. And here's Lisa Stark on the chaos that continues.
Holiday travel is always a headache, but today, think migraine. The aftermath of the big blizzard left travelers scrambling for a third straight day.
It's a mess. What else, you get here early, you plan, you travel, and get stuck with complications.
At Newark today, it was frustrated tourists.
It's a disaster, It's the ugliest way to fly.
Last night, passengers had to camp out at the Newark airport.
There's nobody treating them and taking care for them.
In Indianapolis this weekend, it was to be a simple trip.
I was supposed to be going into Washington, D.C., and that was canceled. Then I came back yesterday, and it was canceled again. They told me come back this morning.
The problem today wasn't new cancellations, but dealing with all those passengers, perhaps as many as 500,000 of them, who've been left stranded over the past 2 days.
We're going to rebook you on whatever we have available.
There were virtually a day and a half worth of flights that were canceled as a result of this storm. So that's a lot of people that have to be reaccommodated.
There are few other options for those trying to get where they're going for the holiday. Lines today were so long at the Hartford, Connecticut airport that these passengers missed their flight to Arkansas and couldn't get a new one until late Christmas Eve. They're driving 1,493 miles to ensure they get home by Christmas.
We can do it.
So you're going to sleep when we'll drive. We're good to go.
But there's a catch. No available rental cars. Few airline seats, no rental cars, but one thing was in abundant supply: luggage, tons of it at the Hartford airport. It had arrived, even though its owners had not.
Now, some airlines today added extra flights, put bigger planes on routes to try to accommodate some of these passengers, and it appears tonight they are catching up. Just in time, the holiday rush will really begin in the next few days. Diane?
But Lisa, before you go, tell me about another travel headline today, a kind of future consolation, I guess. The government announcing that airlines will be fined for keeping passengers on the tarmac for hours without food and water. When does it take effect?
Well, Diane, this is all about those horror stories we've heard where passengers are stuck on planes for hours, sometimes overnight. The Department of Transportation today announced a new rule. It requires airlines to give passengers food and water if they've been stuck for 2 hours, and an even bigger change if passengers are stuck for 3 hours. The pilot has to return to the gate, let passengers get off. If airlines don't do this, they could be fined $27,000 per passenger per violation. The bad news is, well, holiday travelers won't benefit from this, but it will take effect in about 4 months.
Okay, Lisa, our thanks to you. And of course, moving in on holiday travelers, as we said, the new storm heading into the nation's midsection. It could drop 18 inches of snow from Omaha to Minneapolis, along with some pretty rough winds. And in other news, the FBI says that America is seeing one of the most dramatic drops in crime in years. The murder rate down 10% in the first half of the year. Violent crime overall dropping more than 4%, and property crime off 6%. Part of the reason, police efforts to target repeat offenders in high crime areas. And still ahead on world news, the White House increases pressure on Iran about nuclear talks, and we press the president of Iran. Actress Brittany Murphy has died at the age of 32. What we have learned about why it happened. And our Truth Squad will be on the trail as we try to seek the answer to the question, will the presents you ordered really make it there on time?
This is ABC World News with Diane Sawyer, brought to you by Glad ForceFlex trash bags.
Welcome to Glad TV. Thanks, Skylar. Let's go to last night's highlights. There's Mom and Dad cleaning up, and there's the meatloaf. Yuck. Look what sometimes happens with the ordinary bag. It flips, oh, bingo, falls in. Mom was mad. Mom should have used Glad ForceFlex with the new stretchable drawstring that grips the can and stays in place. Plus, it has the stretchable strength of ForceFlex. That's all today for Glad TV. Don't get mad, get glad.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it sleep, freeze, rain, and then let it snow again. Offering fully automatic all-wheel drive, StabiliTrak stability enhancement, and traction control. GMC Acadia. Now during the GMC holiday event, get 1.9% APR for 60 months, or $2,500 total cash back on select 2010 Acadias in stock.
For a better looking tomorrow. Vicks NyQuil Cold and Flu. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching fever, best sleep you ever got with a cold medicine. For a better looking tomorrow. Now also available, Vicks NyQuil Less Drowsy, because everyone sleeps differently.
Irene, drop the itch. We dropped the itch.
Maximum Strength Scalpicin stops intense scalp itch fast, helps you heal.
I dropped the itch.
Free yourself from embarrassing scalp itch. Drop the itch with Scalpicin.
Look, I don't want to work forever.
Then we need to figure this out now. Our nest egg took a real hit.
What's that website your friend mentioned?
RetirementRedZone.com?
That's it, from Prudential.
Yeah, she talked to her financial advisor about what she learned there. Said it really helped her get back on track.
Oh, I like that.
Help get your plan back on track. Watch our educational video at RetirementRedZone.com, the site for the critical years before and after retirement.
Maybe I can retire after all.
Now you're talking.
Click RetirementRedZone.com, then talk to your financial professional.
All right, so this Tylenol 8-hour lasts 8 hours, but Aleve can last 12 hours. And Aleve was proven to work better on pain than Tylenol 8-hour. So why am I still thinking about this?
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Aleve, proven better on pain.
An outpouring of grief turned into a huge anti-government protest in Iran today, the holy city of Qum. It was the funeral of Grand Ayatollah Montazeri, a founder of the country's Islamic Revolution and a voice of the opposition to the current government. And when it comes to Iran, there is a clock ticking this month. Democrats and Republicans have ramped up their call for Iran to show progress on nuclear issues or face new sanctions, tough ones. In the meantime, Iran has been backing out of an agreement to ship most of its uranium out of the country. And a document published in England suggests that research in 2007 occurred on a trigger for a nuclear weapon. And that's where we began when we sat down with President Ahmadinejad over the weekend. And these are the headlines from our conversation. Critics of Iran saying this is the smoking gun. There is a news report out of England, a document, which purports to show that Iran has been testing a neutron initiator, which is a trigger for a nuclear weapon, has no civilian use, And they now say, this is the document that proves it. Have you been testing a neutron initiator?
I think that some of the claims made by the Americans and other Western statesmen about our nuclear issue have turned into a repetitive and tasteless joke.
Would you like to see this document? Is it a joke?
No, I don't want to see them at all. I don't. They are fabricated bunch of papers continuously being forged and disseminated by the American government.
So this is not true?
They are fundamentally not true.
Do you believe there will be stronger new sanctions? Do you believe there will be a possible strike in the future by Israel?
We don't welcome confrontation, but we don't surrender to bullying either. If you want to talk with us under fair conditions, we welcome it. If you are saying you are going to impose sanctions, then go and do it. They want to swap fuel with us, then they come up with deadlines and say, until this time. Respectable lady, the American people, this approach has failed.
But will you return to talks on nuclear issues?
We have not closed the dialogue window. If they are ready, we are also ready to continue dialogue and discussion. But this is not a permanent opportunity.
May I try a yes or no question?
To what question?
Will you say to the American people tonight that Iran will never weaponize nuclear material?
We have got a saying in Iran which says, how many times shall I repeat the same thing? You should say something only once. We have said once that we don't want nuclear bomb. We don't accept it. Finished.
You have said that anyone in Iran can express their point of view, that it is fully permitted. Are you saying that these demonstrators over the next few days can go to the street in any number they want, and they can protest and they will be safe?
Do you think such a thing exists in America? Can the people there come to the streets whenever they want?
You can apply for a permit, and yes.
Are you sure?
And they can go to the street and express their opinions, yes.
In Iran, we have got freedom, more than what there is in America. They are free to speak and demonstrate.
Amnesty International says 4,000 people were arrested among the protesters, that there have been executions, some of the mass executions of protesters.
These things have to do with the judiciary. We have good laws. There is the judge. These people have got lawyers. These are not political questions.
And that was our interview with President Ahmadinejad. You can see a lot more of it tonight on Nightline and read the full transcript at our website, abcnews.com. Coming up, troubling questions raised by the death of actress Brittany Murphy.
If you've had a heart attack caused by a completely blocked artery, another heart attack could be lurking, waiting to strike. A heart attack caused by a clot, one that could be fatal. But Plavix helps save lives. Plavix, taken with other heart medicines, goes beyond what other heart medicines do alone to provide greater protection against heart attack or stroke and even death by helping to keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots. Ask your doctor about Plavix, protection that helps save lives. People with stomach ulcers or other conditions that cause bleeding should not use Plavix. Taking Plavix alone or with some other medicines, including aspirin, may increase bleeding risk, so tell your doctor when planning surgery. Certain genetic factors in some medicines, such as Prilosec, may affect how Plavix works. Tell your doctor all the medicines you take, including aspirin, especially if you've had a stroke. If fever, unexplained weakness, or confusion develops, tell your doctor promptly. These may be signs of TTP, a rare but potentially life-threatening condition reported sometimes less than 2 weeks after starting Plavix. Other rare but serious side effects may occur.
Now, wherever cough and cold strikes, there's new Robitussin to go in a neat little single-dose spoon. Liquid medicine, already dissolved, ready for your body to take in. New Robitussin to go. Pure Robitussin relief to go.
I get so worried today when someone in my family gets the flu.
Fact. Advil not only relieves body aches and pains that can come with the flu, it also reduces fever fast. Relief doesn't get any better than this. Advil.
Only 3 shopping days left to get Disney Santa Buddies. It's the all-new movie that's a great gift for your family.
You need help saving Christmas? We're your buddies.
Only 3 shopping days left to get Santa Buddies on Disney Blu-ray DVD Combo Pack.
Who doesn't want a puppy for Christmas?
I worried what would happen if I didn't start taking care of my heart, but I wasn't ready to give up taste. Sometimes sacrifice is the name of the game.
Honey Nut Cheerio cereal tastes great and can help lower cholesterol.
I guess I can do this.
Be happy, be healthy.
I'm Mark Goldston, Chairman and CEO of Net Zero. Here's a plan for America's broadband users to save $16 billion a year and $300 individually. Switch to Net Zero dial-up at $9.95 per month. Call 1-800-NET-ZERO or go to netzero.com.
To stay on top of my game after 50, I switched to a complete multivitamin with more. Only one a day Men's 50+ Advantage has ginkgo for memory and concentration, plus support for heart health. That's a great call.
One a day Men's.
Good morning, America.
Good morning, America.
It's a new Good Morning, America.
Thanks for starting your day with us. We do have a lot of news.
Robin Roberts and George Stephanopoulos, Juju Chang, Sam Champion.
It's a new Good Morning, America.
Right here on ABC.
In Los Angeles, the search goes on for answers in the death of 32-year-old actress Brittany Murphy, the star of Clueless, 8 Mile, and a long list of other movies. An autopsy was done today. The LA coroner says Murphy had been sick with flu-like symptoms. Prescription drugs were taken out of her home where she collapsed yesterday. Right now, officials are saying her death appears to be from natural causes, but it could take weeks before we get final results. A prison sentence today for the son of philanthropist and socialite Brooke Astor. Anthony Marshall, 85 years old, sentenced to 1 to 3 years for looting millions from his mother's fortune before she died. Marshall is expected to remain free while he appeals. And some kids in snowy Washington, D.C. got a special Christmas week visitor today. President Obama stopping by a Boys and Girls Club.
Guests here today? How's it going? Hey! What's happening? I brought some Christmas cookies for you guys. Have you guys been good?
Yes!
You think you deserve cookies?
Yes!
We are going to read a story, The Polar Express, to get in the right Christmas mood.
The president with a great audience. One boy gave the president a T-shirt for the first daughters, Sasha and Malia, and invited him to come back soon. And a program note. You won't believe who's throwing a party at taxpayer expense. The extravaganza that organizers didn't want you to see.
Hi, how are y'all doing?
Hey, what are you doing on the microphone there?
Hey, why don't y'all leave, please?
Who are you?
That's our investigative correspondent, Brian Ross, and his report will be tomorrow night on World News. And when we come back, we are hot on the trail of your last-minute Christmas packages.
If you want directions to the stadium, push here. If you want to see the weather ahead, push here. If you want to access 10 gigs of music you just downloaded to your hard drive, push here. And if you want to pull away from it all, you can push here. The all-new 40-gig hard drive nav and entertainment system on the 2010 LaCrosse from Buick. It's the new class of world class.
My name's Lisa. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I smoked for 29 years. The one thing about smoking is it dominates your life, and it dominated mine. I honestly loved smoking, and I honestly didn't think I would ever quit. It was very interesting that you could smoke on the first week.
Chantix is a non-nicotine pill. In studies, 44% of Chantix users were quit during weeks 9 to 12 of treatment compared to 18% on sugar pill. It's proven to reduce the urge to smoke.
I did have an unopened pack of cigarettes in my purse and said, what the heck, I don't need these. I said, bye, I don't need you anymore. You're not my crutch, I don't need a crutch.
Talk to your doctor about Chantix and a support plan that's right for you. Some people have had changes in behavior, hostility, agitation, depressed mood, and suicidal thoughts or actions while taking or after stopping Chantix. If you notice agitation, hostility, depression, or changes in behavior, thinking, or mood that are not typical for you, or if you develop suicidal thoughts or actions, stop taking Chantix and call your doctor right away. Talk to your doctor about any history of depression or other mental health problems, which can get worse while taking Chantix. Some people can have allergic or serious skin reactions to Chantix, some of which can be life-threatening. If you notice swelling of face, mouth, throat, or a rash, stop taking Chantix and see your doctor right away. Tell your doctor which medicines you're taking, as they may work differently when you quit smoking. Chantix dosing may be different if you have kidney problems. The most common side effect is nausea. Patients also reported trouble sleeping and vivid, unusual, or strange dreams. Until you know how Chantix may affect you, use caution when driving or operating machinery. Chantix should not be taken with other quit smoking products.
With the Chantix and with the support system, it worked. It worked for me.
Talk to your doctor to find out if prescription Chantix is right for you.
Guys. Where are we?
The answers are coming. ABC's Lost, the final season, premieres Tuesday, February 2nd on ABC.
And finally tonight, nail-biting time for Christmas procrastinators, and you know who we are. Delivery trucks are in a whirlwind right now. UPS alone delivering 22 million packages today. It's busiest day of the year. But in the wake of the big weekend snowstorm, we wonder, will all those last-minute gifts really get where they're going in time? David Muir, as we said, has been on the case. David?
Yes, Diane. We were asking today just who would order gifts online the weekend before Christmas in a snowstorm and expect them to get there? Me, and apparently millions of others. Today, all of us now asking, will they get there?
In these final days before Christmas, every second counts. There are 15,000 UPS deliveries every minute. So what happens when this happens? The worst December snowstorm in decades, just before Christmas. I should have known. This weekend I was ordering online. Now what? I called the top brass at UPS today. They answered.
Hi, Norman.
Hello.
An executive named Norman Black told me they're getting inundated.
We're getting about 35 million tracking requests a day right now on our website. So they're asking the question a lot.
So I'm not the only one.
You are not the only one.
Turns out my gift was in Coffeyville, Kansas at 6:19 last night. It overnighted in Oklahoma City, arriving in Commerce City, Colorado this morning.
Can I be sure that they're going to arrive at Fort Collins by Christmas?
You can indeed.
But there are millions of us. How can they be so confident?
The only place that we've had any issues at all is in scattered neighborhoods where the snow hasn't been removed yet.
Across the country, workers are on overtime, getting gifts out after the storm. In Atlanta, Borjan Madera was on the clock for just 4 hours, and already
That's scanned at least over 2,000 packages so far.
UPS is now counting on 50,000 extra holiday workers, 37 additional planes, 330 additional flights. On the ground today, we found Tony, delivering for 25 years. About to interview him when...
This guy's got a package.
Yeah, he's got a package, so we're going to have to hold on a second. Packages come first.
Another customer, another package.
So you're going to get these there?
Of course. These and about 400 others that I've done already today.
But who's counting?
I am.
Millions of others, too. And as the song goes, I'll be home for Christmas. And as you heard Tony and Norm there promise, so will all of our gifts too, Diane. We can only hope.
So that Christmas fruitcake will make it to everybody.
You didn't send that to me, did you?
You're safe. You're safe. Okay. Thank you, David. And that is World News. And for one last time, for you, Charlie Gibson, I hope you had a good day and a great night. I'm Diane Sawyer. See you tomorrow.
ABC, your NBA Christmas Day destination. A full day of holiday hoops is highlighted by Celtics Magic and Cavs Lakers on ABC.
Put that in your stocking on Christmas morning.
The action gets underway